bullying through the different social media platforms. So these are the things that we have already started addressing sa Department of Education, but we will continue to strengthen our programs in terms of bullying, of course, in coordination also with other agencies such as the DOH pagdating sa referral system. And we are here today to answer any of your questions regarding this matter. We would like to thank, of course, the President for the guidance given to the Department of Education. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, we can open the floor to questions. Go ahead, Eden Santos.
Good morning po, Yusek. Doon po sa guidance ng Pangulo, pwede pong i-elaborate lang natin kung ano yung po naging guidance niya para sa DepEd.
Yes, maraming salamat po sa inyong tanong. Number one, yun nga po pagdating sa teachers. Kasi talagang para sa ating Pangulo, napaka-importante ng ating mga teachers. And we agree, teaching quality will really improve. Sabi nga ng ating Pangulo, he believes around 60% improvement kung mapabuti din natin yung teaching quality. That's why ngayon, sa DepEd, meron naman tayo yung ating NAEAP, no? Yung National Educators Academy of the Philippines, which is the training arm of DepEd pagdating sa ating mga teachers. So, ang sabi ng ating Pangulo, we really need to update our teachers sa technology. We need to ensure that they have the proper training programs and they have the proper expertise para po magampanan talaga nila yung kanilang trabaho. Pangalawa, yung nutrition nga po. We presented to the President that for the school-based feeding program, ay meron naman po tayong ugnayan, no, with DSWD, for example. May mga programa kasi sa gobyerno ngayon pagdating sa feeding at hindi naman po sila nag-overlap. In fact, they complement each other. Meron tayong continuity. So it starts with, of course, the food stamps for the families, addresses also the first 1,000 days, and then meron pong supplementary feeding program, yung pondo ay nasa DSWD, ito naman po yung para nasa daycare, no? So, and then after that, pupunta naman po siya sa basic education kasi papasok na sa paaralan yung ating mga kabataan. So, for the school-based feeding program, meron po tayong 5.6 na budget, 5.6 billion for 2023. Nataas na po natin yung budget na yan this year to 11.7 billion. What does that mean? It means na dahil sa pagtaas ng pondo, kung dati ay nasa 120 days lang ang feeding natin, ngayon po masasakop na natin yung buong taon. But of course, the President wants us to still see kung ano pang enhancements na magagawa natin dahil napaka-importante ng nutrition. No? And of course, pangatlo, yung nabanggit ko nga po, yung bullying talaga, yung isang naging focus.
Yusek, before po na maupo sa DepEd si BP Sara, ano po yung naging difference yung scores po sa mga previous years? Kasi alam naman natin na lagging talaga at nananatiling kulelat po ano yung ating mga estudyante. Doon po sa kanyang pag-upo, umangat ba ng konti yung score or bumaba pa?
Actually, I have to clarify that, ma'am, no? Kasi yung PISA natin was not taken during the term of the Vice President Secretary of Education. Ang PISA natin, nasasabi nga natin na pandemic PISA siya because this was taken from March to May 2022. So, this was prior to this administration and this was prior to the return of in-person classes. Ngayon, pagdating naman sa resulta, of course, Yusek Gina is here to give you probably the specifics or the details. But the general, siguro the general notion pagdating sa resulta is wala namang ganung kalaking difference yung ating 2018 and 2022. Merong slight improvements in areas of math, no, and reading.
Sa reading, meron tayong 2-point increase in terms of scores. Sa math, 7 points. Sa science, bumaba tayo ng 1 point. Pero hindi significant ang difference na to. So yung increase o kaya yung decrease has nothing to do with performance level. So tama ang sabi mo kanina, talagang nananatili tayo sa low proficiency level. Okay, so 2018 at saka 2022, low performance levels tayo sa PISA.
Halos hindi po siya nagbago yung sinasabi ni Yusek Gina. But again, yun nga po, no, we have to be conscious of the dates also that these were taken. The PISA 2022 was taken prior to the return of in-person classes.
Okay. Tuesday New.
Good morning, sir, ma'ams. Sabi nyo kanina, Yusek, yung teachers, kailangan na rin i-upgrade sila para doon sa bagong technology. So far, sir, may data ba kayo kung ilan sa mga teacher na ito yung maalam na sa mga bagong technology or digitalization para maka-adjust din sila doon sa mode of learning na ginagawa na ngayon? At ilan pa sa kanila yung hindi maalam masyado sa technology, kaya nahuhuli yung paraan ng pagtuturo nila sa mga bata. Na alam natin yung mas maraming mga bata ngayon yung mas marurunong na sa technology, bagong technology.
Oo. Actually, sa ngayon, wala po akong mabigay sa inyo na data, no? But we will be doing a scoping talaga pagdating dyan. In fact, not just that, gusto din naming malaman kung ilang teachers na ang merong gadget, for example, no, that they can use. So these are the things we are doing right now. But again, yung training, we won't just focus on one. We will really train all of our teachers. Kasi nga, marami nang nagbago ng technology even in a span of a year. No? Marami nagbabago. Like ngayon, sabi nga natin, meron na tayong AI, hindi ba? So that's something we are looking at. At we will use, of course, the training facility of DepEd to do that. And then there's also, of course, the TEC, yung ating council na namamahala sa talagang quality of teaching. Not just in service, or meaning pag nasa DepEd na sila, but pati yung pre-service, meaning bago sila pumasok sa DepEd. So habang nag-aaral pa lang sila para maging guro, ay tinitingnan na kaagad yun ng TEC. Ito siguro yung magandang mechanism para talagang makita natin yung mga paraan, paano natin maiangat yung quality ng ating teachers, no? Because again, as we always say, hindi naman kasalanan ng teachers yan. It's never their fault, eh. It's really the system. And that's why we want to improve, not just in-service, but of course, that's the responsibility of DepEd, yung in-service. We also want to improve pre-service, the exam given by PRC, and then pagdating sa DepEd, yung in-service training nila.
Susugan ko yung sinabi ni Yusek Mike pagdating sa technology in teaching. Tuloy-tuloy naman ang training natin sa teachers at on top of trainings, we're providing them modules or learning resources that they can use so that they can adapt to using technology in teaching. Kailangan talaga natin din na mag-link sa mga universities para pagdating naman sa pre-service teacher education, matrain na ang mga teachers sa paggamit ng technology sa pagtuturo.
Perhaps we can also talk about the importance of specialization. The President had emphasized that the support for teachers to further their education and specialize.
Yes, kasi ngayon, generalist ang marami nating teachers sa elementary. So kailangan nating pag-isipan together with universities, paano magkakaroon, paano gagawin, na magkaroon ng specialization ang mga teachers natin. Lumalabas kasi sa survey sa PISA na marami nga ang pumapasa ng mga teachers sa atin sa licensure examination, maraming teachers sa atin ang certified, pero compared to OECD countries, mas konti ang teachers natin na may specialization o kaya may master's degrees.
Okay. Alvin Baltasar.
Magandang umaga po. Doon po tayo sa bullying. Do we have statistics about sa insidente ng bullying? Halimbawa, out of 10 students, ilan po yung mga nabubully? And just to give us an idea, gaano po bigat na problema yung pambubully sa mga estudyante?
Opo. With the data, we'll provide Malacanang, because we have a table on that note. So we do have the data. I just don't have it with me right now. But we'll provide you, sir, para accurate yung figures natin. Now, sa bullying, talagang nakaka-apekto. Sabi nga dun sa PISA results, talagang nakaka-apekto yung bullying sa performance nila sa exam. There was really a correlation made by the PISA results, no? Sa ngayon, what we all know na talagang ganyan yung problema. In fact, sa ating Learner Rights and Protection Office na tinayo natin last year, karamihan sa mga complaints are really bullying. No? Yung mga natatanggap natin ng mga tawag, yung mga na iniimbestigahan natin ay karamihan related to bullying. So sa ngayon, ang ginagawa po natin is pinapalakas natin yung ating mga tinatawag na Child Protection Committees sa mga paaralan. Yung reporting system, we are continuously improving it. Although meron na tayong Learner Rights and Protection Office, gusto natin siguro magkaroon tayo ng hotline sa mas madaling tandaan, for example, para talagang magamit ng mga bata. As so far, ang resolve natin na cases sa ating Learner Rights and Protection Office, at least yung latest report na nakuha ko is around 120 cases na yung na-resolve natin. But, pagdating kasi sa ganitong reporting system, dalawa yan eh. Pwede kang magsabi na, yes, naka-resolve ka ng 120 cases, pero we still don't know if there is under-reporting going on. That's why we need to make sure that our system is accessible to everyone, even to anonymous complaints, kasi maraming takot na mag-complain, to make sure that people are really being encouraged to report. And then, after that, we are looking at also, connected to bullying, is the mental health program. Kasi sabi nga po natin na ang bullying, whether dun sa nambubuli o dun sa nabully, ay important, may mental health aspect kasi siya. So that is something we are also doing right now. At meron naman tayong budget na talaga for mental health. So that is something that our operations team is crafting together with DOH. Pagdating sa mental health program, meaning counseling in schools, advocacies, and referral naman to the Department of Health pag kailangan na talaga ng experts. But as to the stats, sir, we'll send you the stats.
Ace Romero.
USEC POA or USEC Gonong, ano yung mga goals natin? Kasi low status tayo sa PISA ngayon. Meron ba tayong goal dapat by this year tumaas na yung ating ranking? Meron ba tayong mga ganong immediate targets?
Yes, syempre ang immediate target natin, kung hindi man tumaas na tayo kaagad in terms of proficiency level, tumaas pa yung scores natin. Hanggang maabot natin yung minimum level of proficiency. Alam naman natin na hindi ganoon kabilis ang pag-increase ng proficiency level. It takes years bago talagang ma-develop ang mga estudyante natin. So we'll just have to continue doing the reforms that we have started in this administration.
So kailan po yung next assessment ng PISA?
Yung next assessment ay sa 2025 na, sa March 2025.
So by that time, what do we hope to achieve by that time na mag-assess na yung PISA?
Oo, so
ano po yung nakita nyong immediate doables?
Katulad ng sinabi ko, at least increase in terms of scores na mas mapalapit tayo doon sa minimum proficiency level. Okay, which is level 2. Okay? So ngayon ay nasa level 1A, 1B tayo.
Pero low pa rin po ba yun?
Low pa rin kasi yung sa scores, pero ang long term natin ay increase in proficiency levels.
Tapos yung nabanggit mo kanina, medyo hindi lang na-highlight. Some aspect, one of the aspects that affect performance is the use of gadgets. Can you elaborate on that and what are we doing considering na sa bahay na po ito, hindi na natin ito mamomonitor yung use of gadgets?
Ang sinasabi sa PISA, kapag yung gadget ay ginamit sa pag-aaral, nag-i-increase ang performance ng bata. May tendency mag-increase ang performance ng bata. Pero pag yung gadget ay ginagamit for leisure, hindi siya nakakatulong sa performance ng bata.
So, paano po natin address
Kailangan nating turuan ng mga bata na gumamit ng gadget sa kanilang pag-aaral.
Last na lang po, yung hotline, meron na po yung anti-bullying hotline.
Yes, yung hotline po natin ay pinopost namin for, I think, since last school year pa, weekly sa ating Facebook page. So, ang hotline ay meron pong cellphone number dyan. Tingnan nyo lang po sa ating Facebook page, every week natin pinaparepost yan. May cellphone number dyan, may landline, meron din tayong email, at kahit yung ating Facebook page doon sa Messenger ay pwede rin po silang mag-access.
Okay.
Of course, let me just clarify. Siyempre po yung bullying, ang first line of reporting yan is really at the school level kasi. So, meron naman tayong guidelines regarding that, meaning pwede kang magsumbong sa teacher, sa advisor, o kahit sinong school official, tapos na-elevate yan sa kanilang child protection committees. But kaya din tayo naglagay ng hotline na, kasi karamihan naman talaga ng ating mga learners, lalo na pagdating sa bullying, takot silang magsumbong kaagad kasi nandyan yung nambully sa kanila, or pagdating naman sa abuses in our schools, takot sila na baka kampihan ng school authorities and teachers. These are very natural, the reluctance is quite natural. So that's why we had a hotline para meron silang, kung takot silang magsumbong sa kanilang school or sa kanilang division office man lang, ay pwede silang dumiretso sa central office through our hotlines. At kami na po yung nagpa-facilitate. And we monitor these cases from the time it's reported to the time it's resolved.
Kenneth Paciente.
Hi sir, good morning and ma'am Gonong po. The Bureau of Learner Support Services is pushing to train parents to spot red flags of bullying among their kids. Ano pong update po dito sa programa ito?
I was told by ASEC Galbat ng operations na meron na silang mga pinapilot na areas dito. I don't have the exact areas, but they are already starting to pilot. I'm not sure if they started with the parents already, but what I was told was they started with teachers, training teachers to spot red flags. Kasi ang mental health, actually number one, you have to be able to determine, diba, to identify learners that need intervention. At ang isang project ng DepEd ngayon is to actually come up with a more effective screening system. So alongside yung screening system, gusto din natin mag-train ng teachers and parents to spot red flags para sila yung magsabi sa atin na kailangan ng intervention ng kanilang mga anak. So, as to the teachers, nag-start na yung ating pilot in certain areas lang. And then, as to the parents, I will let you know kung nag-start na kasi wala pang report sa akin na nag-start na yung sa parents. So.
Okay. Jean Mangaluz.
Hi, Isek. So this goes to anyone, but the PISA results coincided with the establishment of the new Matatag curriculum, which decongests the subjects. So, timely po ba na magbabawas tayo ng subjects na marami palang lacking sa proficiencies natin?
Well, maybe I can start and Yusek Gina can follow. Well, yung Matatag curriculum, yung pag-decongest natin ng mga learning area, ano lang mga ating competencies, no, is really the result of the review that happened dun sa K-10 curriculum. Kasi napansin talaga ng mga experts that napaka-congested or highly congested yung ating curriculum, making it really difficult for, number one, the teachers to teach everything, and two, for learners to actually master these subjects. So there was a need to really go back to the basics and focus on the fundamental subjects such as math, science, reading, which is exactly what's being tested pagdating sa PISA. So yung Matatag curriculum, although hindi naman yung PISA talaga yung sa kanya nag-trigger, there was really a need to review our curriculum. Of course, we are expecting that the Matatag curriculum also helps improve our performance in international assessments, not just the PISA, and of course, the overall performance of our learners. But again, we have to remind the public that these changes, seeing the results of learning outcomes takes time. It's not as if we change the curriculum now and we're expecting better results by next year. So it will really take time. For example, phase implementation pa lang yung ating Matatag curriculum. But for the details, perhaps if Yusek Gina would like to add anything.
Yung tanong mo kung timely, yes, timely. Actually, kung tutuusin, dapat matagal na nating ginawa yung decongestion ng curriculum. Kasi hindi naman yun sa dami ng competencies, kundi kung ano yung mga competencies na mahalagang matutunan ng mga bata. So ngayon, kung nagra-rush ang teachers sa pagtuturo dahil sobrang dami ng competencies, hindi rin matuto yung mga bata. So yung mga skills na dapat na-develop sa kanila, hindi ma-develop. So pagdating sa mga assessments, hindi nila mapakita na kaya nila yung mga international at saka national assessments natin. Tulad ng sabi ni Yusek Mike, matagal pa. Kasi 12 years, di ba? So mag-implement tayo ng Matatag curriculum beginning 2024. Phased implementation to. So mag-count tayo ng 12 years. Yan ang unang graduates natin ng Matatag curriculum. So ang impact niyan nasa 2037 or 2038 PISA.
Ang follow-up lang po, so you don't expect na ma-impact yung PISA results natin ng Matatag curriculum by 2025?
Hindi, kasi ang una nating i-implement, K147. Ang mga magpipisa ng mga estudyante natin sa 2025, karamihan dyan ay galing sa grades 9 and 10 who are using the current curriculum.
Okay. Eden Santos.
Doon po sa mga nabanggit na dahilan kanina ni Ms. Daphne, yung bullying, tapos yung gadgets, yung pong language at home, pwede po bang pakipaliwanag lang paano dagdag yon dun sa, o naging dahilan sa mababang scores po ng ating mga estudyante.
Oo. Ang sinasabi doon sa PISA, yung mga batang nagsasalita mostly ng English sa bahay ay mas mababa ang performance nila sa PISA. Okay? Pero ang resulta na to, no, we cannot really make, how do you call that, hard conclusions at this point. Kasi sabi ko nga, 2 PISA pa lang ang nasasalihan natin, 2018 at saka 2022. So noong 2018, walang difference ang performance ng mga bata na nag-i-English sa bahay at hindi nag-i-English sa bahay. Ngayong 2022, may difference ang performance nila. Yung mga laging nag-i-English sa bahay, mababa ang kanilang performance sa PISA. But let's not make abrupt conclusion at this point kasi ang data natin, 2018 at saka 2022 pa lang. We still need to interrogate the data, ha?
Ayun, buti natuto po ng Tagalog yung anak ko kasi kaklase ni Peppa Pig yun eh, no? Gaano po ba kahalaga na tayo ay pumasok dun sa criteria po ng PISA? Gaano po kahalaga na tayo ay pumasa o pumasok dun sa criteria ng PISA para yung kailangan natin tumaas yung scores. Ano po ba yung kahalagahan ng PISA?
Oo. Ang pinapakita kasi, ang tinitest ng PISA, yung mga knowledge and skills ba na natututunan niya sa school, kaya niyang gamitin sa totoong buhay. Okay? Like he can use the knowledge and skills, students can use the knowledge and skills that they learn from school in real life situations. So kapag tumataas ang performance natin sa PISA, ibig sabihin mas handa ang mga estudyante natin para sa real life situations.
Alvin Baltazar.
Good morning. Yusek, just going back doon sa bullying, doon sa mga problemang hinawakan nyo tungkol sa bullying, ano ba yung sinasabi pangkaraniwan ng mga bully kung bakit sila nang bubully?
I'm sorry, no, I do not actually know if we could disclose that information. But siguro I'll talk to you na lang, sir, at a separate time as to the data that you need.
Okay. Pia Gutierrez.
Doon po sa meeting, did the President express disappointment doon sa mababang score natin sa PISA? And how soon does he want to see results from all our efforts po?
Yeah, you want?
Actually, hindi naman disappointment, kundi yung push na we need to keep working hard so that we improve our performance in PISA. Pero hindi nga lang PISA, kundi performance talaga ng mga estudyante natin as a whole. Kaya talagang si President, ang instruction niya, tutukan natin yung teacher support and teacher quality, yung bullying sa school, at saka yung nutrition. So it's more about what we can do moving forward so we can improve the performance of our students.
Yung results po, how soon does he want to see results? May nabanggit po ba siya? Does he want it na next year, ganyan? Mag-reflect na sa proficiency level
in
ng
terms of
students?
what needs to be done immediately, like kailangan mag-usap ang mga agencies, halimbawa sa nutrition, yung National Learning Recovery Program, yung teacher welfare, lahat yan kailangan na naming gawin ngayon.
At doon po sa program natin against bullying, kasama din po ba doon yung cyberbullying or bullying that happens
Yes.
online? How do we address that po?
Kasama po yun doon, no? That's why this is something that we are doing also with the DOH. Kasi nga po, no, sabi nga natin, this is really a mental health issue. So when we talk about bullying, you have to talk about mental health issues. Pagdating sa cyberbullying, we also want to see if we need to dito sa ating curriculum to put in yung responsible use of internet and all that. So that is something we are looking at. As an advocacy naman, marami tayong mga projects or advocacies na ginagawa at school level just to educate our learners pagdating sa use of the internet and of course yung cyberbullying. So it's really number one, creating awareness, and then number two, how do you respond once there's bullying? So doon sa awareness part, dyan pumapasok yung advocacy, dyan pumapasok yung pagpasok sa curriculum. Meron din kaming mga values education that we are pushing for right now. Hopefully, pati po yung cyber aspect ay masama natin doon. And then there's the response. Sa response side, doon pumapasok yung Learner Rights and Protection Office. Doon pumapasok yung to ensure that at the school level, talagang may reporting system. Kasi it's easy to say that we have child protection committees, but it's another thing to know if they're really functional at the school level. So that's what our operations team is doing right now, together with the curriculum team, pagdating naman sa ating curriculum side and doon sa advocacy side. As you know, doon sa Catch-Up Fridays na sinisimulan natin, it's reading, let's focus on reading, but it's not just reading. It will be reading, and then there will also be values, ed, and peace competencies, and as well as health. So doon papasok yung pwede nating mga, lessons na pwede nating maituro sa ating mga learners pagdating sa mental health at pagdating na rin sa bullying.
Ivan Mayrina?
I just got information na ang average ng Pilipinas sa bullying is double the global average. Correct me if I'm wrong, pero umabot na ho tayo sa punto na ang problema sa bullying ka-level na siya nung specialization ng teachers, ng paggamit ng technology. I mean, what led us to this? Ano ho kayang analysis natin? Bakit tayo umabot sa ganito in terms of bullying?
Actually, pagdating sa bullying, when we talk about the PISA numbers, since we're talking about PISA right now, from 2018 to 2022, ang nakasulat sa report, bumaba yung number. But again, it's not accurate. Why? Kasi nagpandemya tayo eh. Galing tayo sa pandemya na wala sa school yung mga bata. So now that it's here, we're back in school, everyone's back to in-person classes, talagang nakikita natin na talamak din pa rin ang bullying. Bakit tayo dumating sa level na yon? Perhaps the analysis kanina yung napag-usapan was yun nga, yung nabanggit ko sa opening statement, was yung social media aspect. Kasi kung dati, yung bullying, pag alis mo ng eskwela, you're away from your bully. No? Pero ngayon, kahit na wala ka na sa eskwela, pwedeng mag-continue yung bullying through social media platforms. So that's why we are very concerned, not just yung level ng concern natin pagdating sa ano yung mga kailangan ayusin natin para mapabuti yung performance. It's really, ang hirap sagutin kung ano yung number one priority mo. Kasi nga, you have to do things simultaneously. So, kasama dun sa nutrition is also mental health. And kaakibat ng mental health is the bullying aspect. So, all these things we really have to address all together. But, hindi naman po tayo magsisimula ngayon pa lang. No, we already started with that in 2022 pa lang. So, hopefully we can see improvements. But we will continue not only to improve our advocacy side on bullying, we will continue to improve our reporting side on bullying. Kasi katulad nga kanina, natanong po tayo kung meron ba tayong hotline. So that makes me feel that the department is not doing enough to really push itong hotline issue natin, reporting system natin. So that is something you can expect DepEd to improve on.
Thank you.
Could I just add to that? Addressing bullying can't just be DepEd's responsibility. So we're reviewing mechanisms to address bullying in schools. Pero we'll have to remember na kailangan ng parental support at nakita rin naman sa results sa PISA, di ba, kung gaano kahalaga yung parental support sa performance ng bata. So we need to engage our parents and the communities to reduce, if not to eliminate, bullying in schools.
Okay. Kenneth Pasyente.
Sir, may update po ba tayo sa K-12? Kumusta po, sir, yung pag-review natin sa grades 11 and 12 curriculum po meron?
Tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman po yung ating senior high school review. No? Ang target date po natin na para matapos yan is May 2024. Tama? May 2024. Oo.
Ako na naman.
Tama ba? Sandali lang. Sige, I will confirm with...
Ang review.
Ang review, pero hindi yung revised curriculum.
Okay.
So, ang review is May 2024. So after the review, bibigay sa atin, ipresenta sa atin kung ano yung mga napansin nila. And then we will start with the revision process. That's what happens.
Okay. Thank you. I believe this concludes our press briefing. Thank you so much, Malacanang Press Corps, and thank you, Undersecretaries Gonong and Undersecretary Poa. Magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you very much.